All right. And I wasn't coughing a bit today until I went and got on the treadmill. I did an hour on the treadmill and I got off and started coughing. Man. Let me go ahead and announce it. I'm updating the script right now. But love makes the world go round. That's the phrase for the day. I think you can thank El Garyon for that. Oh, am I getting an echo? Echo? I don't think that's me. Oh, we've all done it before, community of the Avatar. Whoever you are. Let's see, I got that updated. Let me see, did I need to update some prizes? Yeah, you can read off the names. You'll get the names right, and then you can adjust the prizes as needed. Snugsy One Bards. The last 4 days have been a nightmare. Every week I've just one thing after another's come up. Today was nothing but fixing stuff. For those who missed it, our two main servers died in the last month and a half. So I finally, if you see the mess behind me, that's computer and a table and all that stuff, I had set up a new server that basically was replacing a quad node with a single box. And I had to first build the server out and get all the OS stuff set up on it. Then I had to get all the drives installed on it and get all those tested up, and had some problems with the RAID controller. I had to swap that out. But anyways, everything's perfect on it now. It's all good. We even have a battery backup on the RAID controller for the first time in a long time. So we can actually turn on caching. And then after I got that up, I took that up there and racked it yesterday. And then after pulling the old one out, which a quad node super micro weighs like 75 pounds. There's nothing more awkward than trying to pull out chest level 75 pound, and then getting it off the rails is a nightmare. And one of the rails locked, and one of them, it was crazy. I almost just wanted to twist it out of there and break the rails off the thing. I didn't think the server host who owned the cabinet would appreciate that much. Data centers don't like it when you damage their equipment. But anyways, I did manage to get that out of there without injuring myself too badly. And then I got the other one in there. I will admit, I fought with the rails for a little while, and then I would just put it up there. It's nah, it'll just sit on top of the other server. It's all good. We probably won't need to pull that one out. That's what a 10-year-old server is good for, is being a rack for another server that doesn't suck. But anyways, then that was up there. I had to migrate all that data. And then my day started off this morning. I didn't want to get up at 2:30 this morning. But Maxine, my 5-year-old, said she couldn't sleep. I can't sleep. My tummy hurts. And it's well, you probably didn't eat a good dinner. Go back to bed. And then a few minutes later, and she made me put her back to bed, and I helped her out. And then I came downstairs and started working since I was already up and no way I was going to get back to sleep. And then a few minutes later, I hear her projectile vomiting upstairs. And she threw up in her bed. Always good. She threw up twice on her nice rug in her room. Then she ran down the hallway, stood at the top of the stairs, and this is the one that was horrible, and shouted, "Dad!" And I was already getting up to go up there. But then she was facing down the stairs and projectile vomited down the stairs. Carpeted stairs, hit every single step. It was rough. But, so then that was my morning, was cleaning up 7 steps, steam vacuum. And it's horrible because you can't, the chunks in there, they look like carrots. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was carrots. The chunks in that, you can't get them up with a steam vac because they're too big to go up in the steam vac. It's really more about sucking up water. So I had to get out the vacuum cleaner and vacuum cleaner it all up, all the chunks up. And then I had to get out the steam vac and steam vac everything up. I know this is a lot of information. This is what you get on the Pro pre-stream And I'm not doing a raffle. I got Community the Avatar here. He's going to take care of the other stuff. And don't have carpets. Oh, we have downstairs is all hardwoods and tiles. It's really nice. But upstairs and on the stairs we did carpet. And the carpet on the stairs was a very conscious choice because Maxine has fallen down at least once. And you get some pretty serious injuries if you don't. So, yeah. Oh, let's see if I can show my floors here. Oh, here's my hardwoods I've got. It's canary wood striped with maple. And then it has a mesquite border. I'm all over the hardwood floors. Oh, that's right. I think I have your client ready. Hold on. I might be able to get those guys a quick client. Hold on. Wait for it. Where the heck did that thing go? Ah, there it is. All right, I'm uploading that for you other people who may want to actually do something on the stream in the client. I had a bad patch. I had 2 patches, which, guess what? My new testing stuff, if I hadn't caught that, you guys would have been completely and totally broken for hours. Oh, and the princess is feeling 100% well and has been watching movies all day long and is now just pretending to feel a little bad so she can watch movies. The wife will be home here shortly to yell at me for letting her watch movies all day long. I know how these things go. Hold on. Okay, we'll see if that actually works. I just tried sending it to somebody who needed it. Again, I hadn't coughed at all day long until, well, in days really, until I exercised, which I guess is not surprising. Let's see. Do. All right, we're getting close here. Is no one going to join me on the stream? I have my Skype. It's all right. I know you guys don't love me. Someone's joining me.
Hello, hello.
Now I gotta figure out how to share that screen. Is that it? Wow, that's a little big. put that T-ball up there for you. Softball's been thrown. All right, I guess no one wants to jump on that. That's the T-ball for the, that's what she said. All right. We are getting close. We got some more questions coming in here. I forget, what's our schedule for today look like, Mr. Community Manager, who came up with the schedule?
Well, right now you're supposed to be giving an introduction. Wait, it is 2 o'clock.
Yep.
Right now you're supposed to introduce yourself and then do Q&A. In 30 minutes, we got a tour of the Lord of the Isle mansion that's been decorated, and then in an hour, it's all you with combat balance and Q&A.
All right. Well then, greetings, avatars. Now officially 3 o'clock. Let's see, did I miss any thank yous? Skeggy Meteorade, House of Mangar, Submarine, Mike Resub. Thank you. I see a bunch of people. Star Games, one Unibitsu, I can't even get them all. Ronald Sturks, Yagi Baylor. Thank you guys so much for the follows. But it is time for our once a release, more importantly, post-release stream that we do a 2-hour version of this, in case you haven't seen one of these. Thank you very much, Lancel Lancermain. But anyways, my name is Chris Spears. I am the guy who wears lots of hats on Shroud of the Avatar, including trying to somewhat kind of run a lot of this stuff. I have with me in the upper right-hand corner, let's see if I can get it right. Bam! First time. Yeah.
Elgarian, community manager for Shroud of the Avatar. Hey, guys.
And it sounds like Ravelox will not be joining us. I don't think Sanyo even mentioned joining us. I think it's the two of us. Just the two of us.
Oh, so
we can make it if we try.
Tour of the mansion?
Oh no, I think he's going to do that part. Maybe, well, I guess we need to add him in. You want to try to add him into the stream? Add him into your Skype? I thought he might just be showing us in-game or walking around there. But surely he's going to be on the stream. We'll see. He'll speak up. But anyways, we've got 30 minutes here. For those who don't know, Shroud of the Avatar, it should be Crowd of the Avatar. Shroud of the Avatar is a massively MMORPG created... Ooh, let's see. I just got a thing here. Merge call into active call. I think I did it. Yeah?
Hey there.
Yeah, you're there. You don't have a video. That's all right.
No, I'm trying to fix my camera. I'm not at home, so I'm on my laptop camera, and it's MSI has this wonderful thing where they disable the hardware. So.
Oh, cool. All right. But anyways, this is Ravelox joining us. He's going to be helping out with a tour of the Lodi Manor thing, the Lord of the Isle Manor. We're going to be making some additional changes to that coming up soon, to the package and to the manor. I think there's the patch that's going out that's building right now. I think I have the issue finally fixed, but that'll have some changes and improvements to it. Have we actually given these out to the existing Lord of the Isle people?
I'm sorry, is that a question?
That was a question.
Yes.
Okay. You guys are awesome, because I didn't even know we gave them out.
Oh,
but anyways.
Actually, no, sorry. So nothing's been distributed yet.
Okay,
these are what's going to them, yes.
We should probably distribute those to a few people. But anyways, the build is, I've been trying to get a patch out that has a ton of balance changes in it as well, but we had some build issues. We had a fun bug that if I had not had my new testing process, I would not have caught, which was if you're in the scene, everything looks fine if you're all alone. If a second player enters into the scene, their camera is acting like it's your camera. So when the other guy moves, your camera follows him off. You're free to run around and do whatever you want to, but you can't see where you're going. It's pretty cool. But then the other guy moves away. And if he zones out and zones back in, then both of your cameras are broken and they're just kind of stuck at random spots. but it's one I would not have caught unless I actually did the double testing. It's fixed finally. I had to do a QA build for it, which I can publish that QA build here again soon as well. But it will be going live probably 6 o'clock-ish, 3 hours from now. It's still building right now. And then I got to do a test of that on live, and then I will do some more stuff. Tell us something good, says SDN0. Tazar is listening to me. Tazar is listening with his feet propped up, I'm guessing. I know who you are, SDN0. How are his feet doing? For those who don't know, Tazar injured himself. He forgot that he is an old man. I'm saying that, but he's about the same age as me. But injured himself, and now Flair is taking care of him. Keep taking care of him. Make sure he takes the good drugs. Almost as old as you. Wow, that is old. But today we are going to be talking about combat balance. But we're going to have... Oh, and Ravlox, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Ravlox. I'm kind of like a weird-ass floating dev thing. I go where I'm needed. And I've been working on a number of projects, including wresting QA from the depths of despair.
Yay!
We're going to put together programs so that way players have reasons to go in and test, and directions and directives on what to test, so that way it'll help the game be much better.
And while I have both of you on, I just want to say, and I say this all the time on our chat channel, but you guys have made a massive, massive difference in the game. I don't know that you've made any difference in the actual game, but in terms of enjoyment of the game and the enjoyment of the team and unloading the team and unburdening the team with stuff and basically doing all the stuff that we'd given up on long ago, like CS and some of these other things, you guys have made an absolute massive difference in the game. So huge thanks to you guys. Hey, camera. But huge thanks to both of you guys for all the stuff you do, and we actually have a community manager again. Oh, I see some Glenlivet back there. And that's some coconut. Is that coconut rum?
Yeah, no, don't ignore that.
Thank you. Oh, and thank you for the Finthia for the follow. Thank you for the resub on somebody I can't quite make out. Sean Paxler, Hodor Soda, NBNN News, Kazanerias. Thank you for the follow. But anyways, if you guys have not noticed the difference these two guys have made, then you must have thought things were perfect before. But yeah, actually having bugs, having somebody managing the QA process, having someone who actually cares about the community and doing an amazing job. And that's the thing I keep having to tell Elgarion is over and over again, as he keeps asking me, is this good enough? And I keep trying to get across to him, that's so good, you don't have to ask me this stuff, man. It's yours to own. You're doing amazing. So again, doing such a great job. And people actually get responses if they're right into QA now. But we have a few minutes left here, and thank you, Submarine Mike. Yeah. Do we have that hype thing? What's that hype thing? That doesn't seem like that's triggered. I'm not sure what you have to do to trigger that. But anyways, thank you, Submarine Mike. I am going to pull up some questions here, and this is for those who haven't seen one of these streams before. If you watch one of my weekday streams, here's pretty much what you see the whole time is me standing there looking in a mailbox. That's what it used to be. I still do that kind of out of habit, even though Elgarion manages sending out the prizes for me, because I was horrible at that. And you guys would yell at me constantly about that. As Lancel Lancermain knows, I am horrible about sending out prizes. But anyways, if you are also new to these Friday streams, we do something a little different. You can get in the raffle that we're going to do by saying, what's our phrase? Love is in the air?
Nope. Love Makes the World Go Round.
Love
Are you
Makes...
gonna sing that really obnoxious song?
No, I don't think I am. My singing voice is... I'm coughing. I might be able to do a Beatles song. All We Need Is Love. See, that's what I should have said. All We Need Is Love. Overruled it so I'd have a better song. Let's see. Love Makes the World Go Round. So if you say Love Makes the World Go Round in the game, in chat, anywhere, then you will be entered into the giveaway. We will be pulling prizes. Also, if you purchase anything from the store during the time we're doing the live stream, you will also be entered into it. Again, the game is free. You do not have to... you don't have to buy anything. You can just download the free game, play the free game, and save in-game. And why do we do that? Because that's the law. They're still getting trained up on some things there. That was Star's normal cue for me.
It's the law. There.
Yeah. And hold on one second. The bus alarm is going off, but fortunately for me, Maxine stayed home sick today because she had a fever and was throwing up everywhere. So let me go turn off the bus alarm so I don't have to hear that in the background. I'll let you guys fill the dead time for a second.
So how you doing, Illigarian?
Oh, not bad. Just had lunch,
Yeah.
Just got the R74, the weekly updates out, guys. And do y'all see the cool art from Damon, all the Bard skill art? Looks pretty good. Just linked it out a second ago. I'll do it again.
I'm also under the weather.
It's going around.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm not under the weather yet. I just still have this lingering lung crud. I would be considered under the weather pretty much half the year at this rate.
Gotcha.
But I am back. The alarm has been turned off. No need to retrieve the 5-year-old from the bus stop. Let's see. If you don't know and you haven't caught on from watching the stream, if you do an exclamation mark question in chat, or a question followed by a question, then it will go into a log that I have here, so I can answer questions for you. Let me jump into a few of those. I think we're going to answer those. And how often do we do prizes on these 2-hour streams? Is it every 15 minutes, or is it like at 30 minutes, the hour?
Well, in the 1 hour,
totally
we
forget.
gave away 2 sessions, so I imagine 4, and it was at 15 and 45, so every 15
and 45, according to Daniel JMCL. Okay, so at 15, so I should probably go ahead and run that here soon. And we've seen that this thing breaks about every 3rd time because of funky names, funky characters and names. If it breaks, I will fix it by hand. But that's pulling. And thank you, Fister McGee. And thank you, Angelus, for the host. And again, thank you, Submarine Mike, for the bits. Bits. But the prizes are coming. 1 second. We'll see if it actually works for a change. Waiting for it. Almost there. Getting really close. Any second. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3. There we go. It worked. And we should change these prizes up sometime. These are still the old ones. But I guess we didn't come up with a new prize list, so I'll just give these away.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Yep, those are my priority.
I'll read them off here. I'll take the first one, so I'll let our community manager handle the next one. We have the Cordovan harp going to Siva Samare, or is it Siva Somare? Could go a lot of different ways there. I'm going to go with Siva Samare. Go with a little Spanish pronunciation. Ornate Marching Band shirt and hat goes to Letharian Silvermane. 5-piece one-man band goes to Sephiroth Scourge. Ornate Grand Piano goes to Red McMiner. Large Fancy Pavilion goes to Wear It. Or it could be
Hey,
We Right.
Congratulations, Wear It.
Anyways, now, You guys have a big list of questions piling up on me. For those who missed it, I did do a Monday stream. My last 2 personal streams, though, have turned into pretty much me talking to you guys very much on some specific topics, largely on loot and crafting and artifacts and some stuff, and basically having a back and forth with the people who are in the stream. So I didn't get to answer that many questions on those. So you guys are probably have questions piling up. I'm going to dive into them here. Let's see. John Marcus. For those who don't know, John Marcus does an amazing thing. He noticed we do not have a Japanese version of the game. So he reverse engineered our data for how we do our localization. And notice we had like kind of a placeholder language that he can go in and replace the placeholder language and used kind of the same tools we did. He set up a Zanata. That's the crowdsourced translation tool we use. And has it all set up. And he makes a Japanese version of our game. And he kind of made one without even talking to me first. And then basically asked for permission after they'd already gotten it. I was like, of course, like, absolutely. I wish we could do more to help him out. We just haven't had time to get much support in there to go and figure out some of that the Zanata stuff and how we do the language tables. But John Marcus asks, there are some non-localizable strings in game that is messing up our translations. Only happens in test language. Can I bug report it? Yeah, you can bug report that. Most stuff in the game should be localized, or it should be in a localizable string. The only exceptions are sometimes error messages. And even the error message should be localized. It's really just the special word that goes with it. And then also internal, like, serious errors. Yeah, John Marcus is amazing. We greatly, greatly appreciate him. I know you guys appreciate him because he's the one that always makes me sing, too. Let's see. Red Hammers ask, Atos, how much weight have you lost in the past few months? Please take better care of yourself. So I have been taking care of myself, as I mentioned earlier. I'm actually trying to lose weight. I'm actually, I have 23 pounds to go to get to my, I'll call it my fighting weight. I think my male friends would call it my dating weight. Also known as the weight I was when I got married. So down a little over 10 pounds, but it's not due to me burning the candle at both ends. I actually have a pretty healthy schedule, try to keep a pretty healthy schedule except when I'm sick, of getting up stupidly early, getting Maxine off to school, working, and then I'll go exercise around lunchtime for a few hours. And then if I have time, I'll come back and do some more work. But anyways, thank you for your concern. This is a good one. This is Famines. For those who missed it on Wednesday, I didn't do my own stream. Instead, I joined Famines for about a 2-hour chat while we were fishing. I did not catch the best fish. In fact, none of us caught a good fish, really. I think it's like a small bluefin tuna or something like that was the best thing we caught. And I was cheating crazily. I'd turned up my stats to basically beyond anything the players could ever get, and I still couldn't catch a fish. So I told him I would go look and see, go investigate that math as well. But Famines asks, can we have axes do extra damage to Reapers? That is a fabulous idea. And not that hard to implement. So yeah, and we don't have many good axes in the game either. I never see that many players using axes. This is a bit of trivia. Axes, for those who haven't noticed it or haven't paid attention to it, axes in our game are treated as bludgeons. I know, right? And the history for this, for those who don't know the background, is early on we had them as pole arms, and we have a number of people in our game who are pretty serious about their medieval knowledge and SCA and all the other stuff, Amp-Guard and whatever else the other different stuff is, where you go out and fight. But they argued with Star about it and convinced him that axes had to be bludgeons because the style of fighting you use with an axe is the same as you use with a bludgeon. It's closer to that, much closer to that than it is with a polearm. Where a polearm is a very different style of fighting. So it's actually going into not what you think of in terms of an axe and it cuts things and it has a haft and a blade, but actually how you fight with them. So, in case you're wondering, a little bit of information. Yeah.
So, Chris.
Yes.
If we're, because of the daytime cycle in the game, if we were able to, let's say, start the LOTI thing within about 5 minutes or so? Just wanted to...
Yeah. Sorry, I was wiping my eye and I didn't want people yelling at me.
No problem.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Now, how are we going to do this? Do you want me to teleport to you in game, or do you want to share your screen?
I'll share my screen. Here we go. See if this works. Share screen. Is it coming through?
Not yet. Okay, now it's coming through. All right, then let me.
So.
Let me see if I can figure out. There we go.
All right. Ready? I should just go with it.
Yeah, I'm just tuning up how this is stretched a little bit, but yeah, go for it.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
First off, this is we put the Lodi or LOTI, Lord of the Isle Manor in the or mansion in the hometown scene, which is in game. It's on the live server, so if anybody wants to come over and visit, they can. After the tour is over, of course. Right now, the house is in restricted access while we do the tour, and wanted to kind of.
Yes, I am here. I totally was not talking to the wife who had just got home.
I think you got Ravlox muted. They can't hear him.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
They can't hear talk.
Hello, Tess.
No, they can. Oh, you know what? I muted the microphone so you guys couldn't hear me, and right now I'm piping it through the microphone.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, my apologies. Professional streamers, people. We have years and years of practice doing this. We know exactly what we're doing.
So, am I going out now?
Now you're going out. They can hear you now.
Okay, all right.
Pro stream.
So, basically, guys got a great bird's eye view of hometown, and this is on the live server down by Sultan in the Perennial Coast area. So, if you want to come down and see all of the houses that are in the game, the ones that are on the store as well as ones that are no longer in the store, feel free to come down here and wander around. We're going to rebuild Hometown and recategorize or reorganize the houses in better categorizations, as well as have inky NPCs that will help direct you to things that you want to find. In addition to the houses, we're going to deco them a little bit and place some of the rarer items that are in the game into the houses, and the inky NPCs will be able to direct you to some of those items as well. This is going to take some time to get done, so, be patient. So here we are. This is the Lord of the Isle mansion, and we're going to give you a little tour here. Spent the last week decoing this with some folks, and I gotta get out of slope. Oh. Not working. No. Get typing. Technical issues. And I'm just looking at that. There we go. Okay. Okay, so here we are. This is the main courtyard for the Lord of the Island Manor. And let me hit the F9 key again so it looks pretty. And get my camera zoomed out a little bit. So this mansion is huge. It's like 3 times the size of anything we have in the game now, and it rests on a special castle deed for the Lord of the Isle, and the deco limits on that are going to be a little bit better or higher than the normal castle deed because of the amount of space that's involved. And as Chris had mentioned before earlier in the stream, the final version of the mansion is not yet in game. There's a patch that's pending that's going to make some improvements deco-wise as well as texture-wise and such. So keep that in mind as we go through. So this is the main foyer. We will come back to this later. We are using the extended chandeliers in here with the extended chains, which work very well. So those of you who have the chateaus and Twin Spire Manors, things with and then dungeons as well with tall ceilings. These are the chandeliers to get. Is they actually hang to the right height and will light up the room properly. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. And this is where I need to go. And I apologize if I mess any of this up because I am not feeling well. And in the last few days, it's been kind of a rush to get it all done, and didn't get time to memorize everything I wanted to do. This is the ballroom that we've put together. It's the highest area in the house. The deco possibilities on this lot are immense. Zoom out a little bit. Can't do anything further from there. Over this way.
Do you mind taking a question from the audience?
Sure, go ahead.
Got somebody asking, so are there any built-in lights, or did you put those in?
Yes, there are no baked-in lights in this house. We are not forcing anybody to have a light where they might not want one. So that gives you more flexibility.
And I just want to point out there's some performance improvements coming in. I don't know if it's in this patch or the next one after that. But one of the interesting things is if you're a graphics person, you all know that you improve the performance by having fewer draw calls, by having fewer batches get pushed to the graphics card. Well, that's true until you get up to a certain point when you start having big objects. Because then when you have big objects, each light that is hitting the object forces it to re-render if it's casting a shadow. So when you have a massive, super high polygon single object, while it reduces the draw call count, it makes the performance worse in a lot of situations because you end up pushing, millions and millions of extra polygons for each light that touches it. So anyway, so that's being fixed, and I can see you do have shadows on. If you turn shadows off, you get much better performance in here. But the next version of this will improve that as well by chopping it up into chunks.
Gotcha.
That's the tech director talking.
So we go down here into past the rooftop garden and come down into the brewery that we've set up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this is actually, again, all done within a week. And the deco counts actually on the house currently are still low. So we had to, be a little sparse on what we were doing. But it worked out really good. And this is the kitchen area.
And just for my sanity, can you turn off shadows for a minute so we can see, again, this would be,
okay.
Just so we
Sure.
can see the performance difference. I know you're trying to make it look good here. I just want to make
look
sure.
at that, very high. All right, yep, not a problem. How's that?
Well, I don't know. Turn your camera. Hold on. Yeah, it's a little bit. That's not as good as I would expect. I'll have to go back and look at some more.
Okay. Well, some of it might be the retransmission through Skype too. So, I mean, I'm not seeing any lag or anything on my side.
Oh, okay. Then that's probably on Skype then.
Gotcha. The mansion, originally we were going to have a little bit of a role play thing and a storyline to go back behind this, and so I apologize because it's been a really hectic week for me in my personal life. These areas here are bathrooms for the staff and servants for the family that lives here. And then we have the living quarters for the female staff and living quarters for the male staff right down the hall. Let's see, I think this is the dining room here. There we go. The dining room is a little small, so I apologize for that, I think we can only seat about 50. And if I'm going too quick, just let me know, guys. I tend to go a little quicker than I probably should. This is the, I believe we were saying this is a gentleman's smoking lounge. If I remember correctly, I go down the stairs. Go straight across. No, diagonal. That's right. I have instructions. This is the ladies' sitting room, or there's another name for it, I know, and I'm probably just screwing that up. And then we go into something that everybody's going to like, I think, the solarium, which is a huge greenhouse. And yes, it does have greenhouse growing rates.
Man, your team of decorators did a phenomenal job. That is crazy.
They sure did. And they insist they want to be anonymous. So.
If someone actually has this package and they go in there and they just plant like garlic or something, I'm going to hunt them down and beat them to death. Do not waste that room on planting.
Yeah, all those little pots of garlic and stuff, right? So this is the music room where they give lessons. As you can see, this take a long time for you to really deco properly. And this is the trophy room. So every mansion has to have a trophy room. Now, this house, of course, was put together by Damon, and we're all really proud of it. I mean, he's done a really great job with this thing.
And most people went and had fun with their families or went skiing or did that type of stuff over the Christmas break. This is what Damon did over the Christmas break.
Yep. Nice family library in here. And then we go into the private library, and which reveals something a little bit more about the owner of the house. Apparently he's into some alchemy type of scenarios. Then we have the actual family bathrooms. From here we go across. This area here is where the master suite is. This goes down to the hallway. Okay. No. Yep. Here's the master bathroom. And the master bedroom. This is where I'm going to end up going off script a little bit, I think. End up backtracking. Going to this room first. This is the lady of the house's dressing area, I believe. There's plenty of space to do stuff with. And then I believe this is Uncle Elgarian's room, right? No. Nope, this is the male dressing room. Where is Uncle Elgarian's room? Somewhere out here, right?
Mine is not complete yet because I didn't get back in there after you removed that fireplace.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. No worries.
It's well enough done, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this is. Oh, here. This is the office. This came out really nice.
This is kind of embarrassing, but can you summon Atos?
Sure. Well, no, actually, I can't. Sorry.
Ah!
Oh, wait. No, wait. I can't. That's right. What's the slash? Is it still summon and slash?
I think. Maybe summon player?
Yeah, it could be summon player. ATOS. Nope.
Oh, nope. Okay, try just summon Atos.
And that's because you're not in the same zone as me.
Ah, boo. For those who are wondering why I'm needing summoning, I also screwed up and updated my client to the latest build on our GM client. And that is not compatible with the servers right now, so I can't get there.
Yeah, that's why I'm also in this situation. I'm doing a player GM scenario right now because I lost access to the GM client. Okay, I think this is our Uncle Elgarian's room. It was actually labeled as that, Mr. Elgarian.
Nice.
So you go into nice landing areas.
Woo! I got it.
Yay.
Zone 2.
What was
Teleports
that?
me
Slash
to
what?
Zone 2. Zone TO. And the player's name for a GM potion. I'm doing the same thing you're doing.
Oh, okay. So you're going to zone to me then.
Yeah. You don't have to
Okay.
wait for me, though.
Cool. There you are. I think this is pretty much the last room, really. So this is a children's playroom, which is totally amazing. Oh, you know what? You might be kind of stuck.
Oh, because I don't have rights to the building?
Yeah.
But I teleported
Yeah.
in here?
Right. I got block turned on. So, sorry. You can walk around the hallways, but you're kind of like stuck in the house now. This is all. That was actually the end of the tour itself. Brings us back to the foyer, and basically, I think that's about it. I'm hoping I'm not saying anything about the house or anything. Again, this house is part of the Lord of the Isle package that's up on the website. We still have a bunch to sell, I believe. We've sold a bunch of them as well, but there's still more up there to buy if anybody's interested in that. And kudos go out to everybody who assisted me in getting everything prepared, as well as Damon, of course, for spending weeks and weeks on getting this thing ready. All right, Chris. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing here. If you want to share your screen,
Yeah.
I'll get you set up on the lot, and then if you want to wander around and talk more about this, go for it.
Yeah, I'm on there, and I've got, this is with shadows on very high, so yeah, I think the performance problems we were seeing on yours were actually from the, from Skype. Yeah, when you swing the camera, it's got to do a full redraw and resend, because yeah, you can see I've got shadows on very high. That's the other thing we found with the big, single monolithic big object like this, is it also screws up some of the shadow drawing from lights. There's only so many times a single object can be used to draw shadows. So yeah, so now I'm trapped in the house and overloaded with weight.
Sorry.
Oh, and I can't get rid of my objects. All right, I'll survive.
Well, I can fix you up.
That's
in a
good.
second.
It's like a bad horror movie. Normally I just
Yeah,
stand
this
at
is-
my house, and now I'm stuck in this house, and I can't get out. It's a better house to be stuck in, at least. For those who don't know, yeah, this is one of the pledges on the front. For those who aren't familiar with the project, we try to put up some pledges that are not really just, here, you're buying this because you like the game and you think it's cool. I mean, maybe you will. This is one of those that I would call like an angel pledge, that it's somebody who really just wants to contribute to the project and has the funds available. The people who do this, I mean, I know most of the people, I've met most of the people who are current Lord of the Isle people, and they're all like, they just love the community and they love sharing that type of stuff. And I see a glitch right there. I'm pretty sure he fixed that. Hopefully he fixed that in this next patch. If not, Damon!
Which glitch is it?
See, there's a little slit in the wall right here.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not in this patch. It'll be in the next one.
Okay.
That's still actually pending in Jira.
Okay.
That was caught in the third wave.
But anyways, but yeah, so this is more of a something that we have up there that is, if you really love the game, you want to support the game, you want to support the community, that's why we have these up there. We are going to make them a little more, continue to make them a little more appetizing, and then we'll probably do a few more crazy things with them. Because the other thing is, this is for people who want to get together and meet up with me and Star and Richard and other people, that we have meetups, and we will... Not sure what we're going to do for sure for the dinner. I may make you dinner. We'll see. We'll probably go out and do dinner somewhere. But it's also a good chance to sit down and have one-on-one, face-to-face actual time with me and other people on the project. All right, well, I'm trapped in here. I can't even get through the doors that look open.
You should be good now.
Oh, I should? Yeah. All right.
And the house is actually now unlocked for everybody, so if anybody wants to come down to hometown and do a self-guided tour, they're more than welcome. Oh, and I did forget to mention that somewhere in this house, there is a rumor that abounds that there is something secret in it as well.
I didn't want to tell Damon because he was on our team chat after he added the thing. And he was like, don't tell people about the secret rooms. And I didn't want to tell him that I had already released a patch where I just went, when I do my patch notes, I'll frequently just go down the Perforce change list. And I was like, add the what? So it was actually in the patch notes. And he was like, don't tell anyone about the secret rooms.
Yeah, oh no.
Except for those 500 people who actually read the patch notes and now know about the secret room. So I won't tell them where it is. Mainly because I don't know where it is. So, but anyways, feel free to come over here and check it out. Yeah, an amazing job decorating here. It is also time for us to do another drawing of names. Let me get that going. And then I am going to talk about some combat balance, and I'll be looking for questions on combat balance as well. But let me get the prizing done. Uh-oh, and I just saw our leaderboard aggregation broke. Our leaderboards have not been updated in 8 hours. I'll have to fix that after the stream. There's been a lot of... I mentioned earlier that I spent a lot of time this week doing stuff that does not directly show up in game, like with all the server stuff. And this is one of those things that when I move the servers... even though keeping, for all those IT guys out there, keeping the MAC addresses, keeping everything set up. There are a lot of things, for some reason, some licenses invalidated themselves. I've been having to go and fix that. Some IPs didn't get mapped right because they were mapped to the wrong NIC card. Lots of stuff. But anyways, leaderboard aggregation is currently broken. I will fix that so that you can know who is actually on top of the fishing chart. I'll get there. Oh, and that actually may be the one that is the 7-day or 24-hour one, not the more recent one. But now we're supposed to be talking about combat balance. So I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions in there. I can go down the quick rundown of kind of what the goals are for it and some of the things that have been done already for it. Oh, and I need to get caught back up on things. Let's see. Pifester, thank you for the resub. Jagilo, thank you for the follow. Soloswa, thank you for the follow. Love getting the follows. We also have, if you see another stream, another one to go follow, if you want to go follow Community of the Avatar in the Shroud of the Avatar community, which is that guy in the corner up there.
Hello.
That just waved and has his chaos hat on. Anyways, let's talk about combat balance. So the goal with combat balance is I think people saw in my 2020 vision statement. Oh, and thank you for the sub. And Sean Butts, thank you for the gifted sub. But in the 2020 vision statement, I laid out some of the goals for the project. One thing I think there was a little miscommunication on, which was people thought that we weren't going to do any advertising. Well, we are doing advertising. We just aren't increasing our advertising. Our goal was really to instead continue to improve the quality of the project and try to make sure that we have fewer people leave the community because of in-game balance stuff. And that's really where the big balance stuff shows up, is in the in-game. The early game actually, I think, is pretty balanced and pretty fun. Up through kind of the the 50s and 60s, but there are a couple of things in there that were band-aids that were put on long ago, and kind of the goal was to remove some of those big band-aids and try to focus on balancing the game instead of putting band-aids on it. So some of the biggest band-aid, of course, was the attenuation feature, which many of you probably still don't even never saw it, but that is if you exceeded a certain amount of experience points, you would get attenuated. That means that you basically don't get more experience for some amount of time after you reach that. And it was set pretty high. It was at 2 million. Technically, it's already there, or it's still there, but it is at 5 million right now while I continue to try to find the really hot spots. But the goal was to remove that, tune up the balance of the game just by really, a handful, a few dozen skill tweaks, a few dozen feature tweaks, and then go back and balance some of the creatures to make sure that the risk matches up to the rewards. And the real reason for that is when we do that, right now, the way it was before, there were literally, for those who didn't know, there were people who were powerful enough that they could go to some of the control points and carry a party of 8 people by themselves, or maybe 2 people in the party could carry a party of 8 people, and you could just have 6 people sitting around idle. So again, we want to make sure the risk versus reward is balanced in those things. And when the balance on things was so far out of whack, I felt we had to make some big changes. So there were some big changes made this release. There's still some more to come. Again, I'm watching all of you. I know where your hot spots are. I know what skills are kind of its skills. I'm trying to tune those in ways that do not make you feel less powerful, but do require you to actually have more skill in playing. And there's quite a few of those piled up now because we haven't been able to get a build that didn't break and do wacky stuff. So that'll be going out later tonight, though. And again, apologies for the coughing. It's one of those things I feel like I'm 100% well. Until I get on a stream and try to talk for 2 hours. So we'll see how I'm doing an hour from now as the stream's still going on. But anyway, so a lot of those Band-Aids were pulled off. The attenuation, again, I've got it capped at 5 million, but that's really just so I can kind of find what the ceiling is. And the goal is not to make it so you can get to 5 million, because right now there's at least 3 or 4 ways that very skilled players can get to that level. But the other thing that's really important about trying to bring get the risk reward back into place is there are players out there who are really good. I know some of the guys like Zol and Elgarion talks to a number of them that are really just serious skill players, and they work really hard when they play. And the problem with that is that guy who's really skillful, he spends a lot of time planning and practicing on his deck and figuring out the best strategies. And researching and talking to other people, like doing all this stuff, and the reward he gets for working really hard is the same that somebody else gets for sitting idle in a party at a unbalanced control point. So again, that's part of the goal, was to make it so if you are an average player, you will still be able to get the same rewards you were getting before. This was really aimed at making it so the higher end players, guys who are really working hard, trying, putting together their best strategies and trying to refine their skills, that those guys have a way that they can get more reward. So they're the ones that are supposed to be over kind of the level that we had in previous releases. Let's see. And yes,
some prizes if you want to jump in on those that came up.
Oh yeah, do you want to announce those? I'll read up on a little bit of chat here. I see a little chat going on.
Sure, yeah, that'll work. So we got a Cordovan harp going to Doogie Redhammer. We've got a ornate marching band shirt and hat going to Extra Moon. Shepherd is going to win a 5-piece one-man band. We have a duplicate prize, so I guess we'll have to do a trivia question.
Uh-oh.
And James Doherty wins a large, fancy pavilion. Any of you guys have a trivia question really quick to spit out?
Sure.
Do it.
This is one they can go look up. We'll see. This may be a fastest fingers thing. But what was the final count for the number of people who backed the Kickstarter for Shroud of the Avatar? Bam.
There you go. I have no idea.
Wrong.
Have to Google it.
The Fisherman Famines has the fastest fingers.
What? 22,000, huh?
22322.
Good job, Famines.
Yeah.
And so Famines won the ornate grand piano.
Hold on. Yeah. enough stream here. My eyes have just about
I'll get
recovered.
all prices sent out tomorrow when I can get the GM client up.
But anyway,
Chris,
so
you should come over and sit by the fire while you talk.
let's see if I can even find my client to my right. Oh yeah. Oh look, there's another one. That's the one that I guess that's the same room section that was off slightly. I'm telling you, we need the 2 ferns. You guys should put ferns on either side of the chair.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so that was kind of the goal of the balance that was going on. So a lot of these, in case you're wondering, like, well, why didn't you just do it before? So without committing to do a massive rebalance of a lot of stuff and touching a lot of different stuff, the results I would get from the balance before, or making balance changes, would result in basically everybody screaming bloody murder, or a very, handful. If you guys recall, there were some changes that impacted archers a while back that, again, a lot of people screamed bloody murder, touching the scene that was, at least previously, the most popular scene in the game in upper tiers. Like, making little changes to that, like, people go nuts over that. They absolutely hate it when I touch that stuff. So anyway, so this was one where I basically just wanted to commit this whole first quarter, January, February, March, is I'm working on the balance. I'm working on remaining issues. And again, throwing out a big bone in the form of removing the attenuation, so you guys get something out of it. But you will find that there's a lot of stuff like, guess what? Upper tiers is actually somewhat challenging now. It's still rewarding. It's far more rewarding, actually, if you know what you're doing. But if you were just someone who would go there to, to chat while you're drinking beer or whatever, you're probably going to get your party angry at you because you're not carrying your weight. Because you need a party who's going to carry their weight now. Oh, we should also announce the phrase. The special magic phrase again. We haven't done that in a little while. What is the phrase, people? Love is in the air.
Love makes the world go round.
All you need is love. Love makes the world go round. So anyways, so that's why it hadn't been done before, because doing like a partial pulling off the band-aids, that's kind of what it resulted previously, was band-aids on band-aids. So this is trying to pull off all the band-aids and get the game to a point, like, understanding that we're going to be upsetting a lot of people who used to be able to do something. They no longer can do something. That is one of the things that really upsets people, is you don't want to make people feel less powerful. So that's actually what I've been trying to do, is coming up with a way to balance the game without making people feel that much less powerful. Some of it you will feel less powerful because the creatures got a little more powerful, so relative to them, you feel less powerful. So a lot of the focus has been on, rather than taking like, this spell used to do 80 points and now I think it should do 55 points instead. Trying to leave that alone and instead make it stuff where you have to make some choices. So the spells are equally as powerful, but they have shorter durations. So if you want to cast them and you want to charge them up full or stack them or whatever, you're going to have to spend a lot of time for a short amount of work. So you're going to work a little harder for it. You have to commit more. The 2 things you kind of have in combat that you can choose from, is you can choose, one of those limited things is focus. That's an obvious one. So that's another one that I've been working on adjusting. Then the other one that people don't really think of as something that is used in combat, or you have a limited amount of in combat, but is time. So by cutting durations of some of these really long duration spells in half that are damage spells, not buffs and stuff like that, but the damage spells, it makes you spend more of your time casting them. That's actually one of the aspects balancing. And again, there may be some things you used to do that you just need to change your playstyle a little bit. Like maybe not fully charge every single cast of a spell up to the maximum. I have adjusted some of those casting times to bring them down a little bit. I reduced most of them by 25%. But let's see. John Stryker mentions as a guild master, UT was a good place to help new guild members build their XP pools, but not anymore. So that's the other thing, is before it was purely UT. There's actually there's other control points in the game, and most of the other ones are still highly rewarding as UT. In fact, there's some of the other ones I've seen are the ones that some people are getting to 5 million experience points. As Devicult points out there, that he can still solo UT no stress, but I'm going to guess, Devicult, that you have to work a lot harder than you used to had to work, which is kind of the goal. Is we don't want it to be a place where you can just go and idle because there's no real risk and you can max out your rewards. So upping the rewards, but also upping the challenge quite a bit. And let's see, let me thank John Marcus again for the bits and Vector Grammar, and also Stymie LLTS for the sub. Stymie is hardcore. In case you didn't know, he does have a Shroud tattoo. I posted on our Twitter feed a while back if you wanted to go look. And I guess that's something that's fairly new that we didn't mention, maybe we didn't mention last time, is thanks to the tireless works of, let's see if I can get this right. That guy. Ravlox there, we actually have our Twitter account back. And it was just as painful to get back as we had imagined. But he went through that pain for us. So again, when I say those guys have done amazing things to help the game, that's another one of those things. So thank you very much, and glad to have that back. So Elgarion can do some tweeting for us as a community manager. When am I getting my Shroud tattoo? I don't think I'm going to get a Shroud tattoo, just because I don't have any Shroud tattoos. There's a number of people on the team who got Shroud tattoos. There's some people in the gaming industry that every game they make, they get a tattoo for, even the bad ones. I'm not that guy. I wear Shroud t-shirts most of the time, which, of course, I wear the Shroud t-shirt that has the spell circle on it, like has all the circles, the school things on it. And I frequently get asked, is that demonic? Is that a magic thing? What? Like, constantly that type of stuff. So that's what I give up. I should get my Shroud in game. That's I have gotten it before. I did cheat some though. But anyways, back to the balance talk. So I know some of you want some specifics on some things that have changed. So again, you saw some of the scene balance stuff. That was really, there were some creatures. Kind of came down to the creatures that were the oldest and hadn't been touched much were the ones that were just extremely underpowered for the rewards. And some of those were the liches, the skeletons were a little underpowered. And there were some of the control point guys. We also have this concept of, we have one type of spawn that is one type of creature that should be used if you're doing a normal scene where you're, walking through the adventure, you're going to fight a few of them here and there, and you maybe go to the next room and fight them. Then we have another type that is supposed to be used if you're doing what we call control points. That is basically where you get to either sit in a place or you're doing something that is creating large numbers of these guys. And many of the control points we had in the game were made before we had that concept. So this was also a pass to go back and make sure all of those guys were the proper ones, which made some of them tougher. Again, though, there's several other control points that should be fine for helping out your new guildmates. You're probably not going to hit 5 million, but there's definitely a bunch of those where you can hit the same levels you were hitting before. And this is one of those things, again, there's nothing comes without some frustrations. I'm sure there's lots of people frustrated over a few shorter duration things, though. I've had a lot of people tell me, though, that these are the changes that were needed. And now we need to get back to focusing. Now that we've got some of these balance changes, we need to get back to focusing on the end game, which, again, we're going to be getting out here in this first quarter, which is going to be another in-game scene that is really intended to be the helper scene so that we can tune our actual in-game for episode 2, and you can actually make some of those real in-game scenes. I think a lot of the scenes actually got a lot more challenging here this release. This next patch coming out as well will also address some more balance issues and a lot of some of the creatures that were weaker than they should have been. But we're getting there. I think we're getting there quick, and I think we've made some big strides. Again, some of the hardcore players have said. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I saw down there's more tattoo talk. But I think we've made some big strides. And again, I know there's some frustrated people, but I believe the end result is good. I believe the end result, it's moving in the right direction. I don't think we're quite there yet. But we do have some new benchmarks, and we'll have some much better benchmarks after we get the Halls of Balance out, which will happen. We'll see if it happens in February. Again, February is now. I still haven't finished the bards. We do have the icons for the bards. We do have some of the VFX for the bards, but I still need to get the initial bard pass out there for you guys. The episode 2 continent is actually looking pretty darn good. And I'm just working on the tech right now. There's actually client and server side stuff. There's a lot of stuff I think I mentioned it in a tweet, but there's a lot of this tech. We haven't added a new continent in like 4+ years, and so there's a lot of this old code that's code rot that trying to go in and touch it and it crumbles in your hands. If you want to think of it from a standpoint of stuff, that's kind of old code is the same way as really old paper or something. You touch it and it's brittle and it breaks. And I've been working through some of those. I think I've just about got it. I may get a patch out this weekend that has the episode 2 continent open. Wish me luck. We will see. But I believe our server situation is actually fixed and we should be golden for quite a while to come. We have a server that rocks and is running everything we need and is not 10 years old and has backups on it that because it's fast enough, we can actually run backups on things nightly, but we don't even need to think about it anymore. And I can get back to making the game instead of wasting time on that. But anyways, back to Balance Pass. Let me go over some of the specifics. That's kind of the high-level picture, again, of why we feel balance is needed. We're trying to make sure there's quality, high skill players who work hard are rewarded more than low skill players who are lazy. And that's going to be true again as we're moving more towards trying to have a more significant end game that is more challenging. We gotta wean players off the idea that they can sit around and do nothing and get the same experience that a high skill player can get. All right, let's see. Let me go over some changes here. Just going down my list. One second. And again, these will be. I'll get some patch notes out. This patch will probably. It might go live tonight. It'll probably more likely be first thing in the morning because I want to do a lot of testing out before it goes out since we've had several issues with them lately. I can tell you some of the things that will be coming in this patch already are going to be casting teleport scrolls is going to be quick. This has nothing to do with combat, but these were some changes that went in that I think are some more quality of life things. We realized there was no real reason for it. It's one of those decisions we made trying to force a regional economy system that just didn't really, it was a neat idea. It just wasn't fun as we continue to move towards fun. Magic movers will have a 30-second wait. Attunement, again, I made a change. For those who know how this stuff works, there's actually a function. Basically, we calculate your attunement versus the creature's attunement. And based on that attunement, we come up with a number that determines how much more powerful the effect of the spell is. So that has always had a POW on it. Like imagine a square root is a 0.5 POW. So this is one that I continue to nudge, which only affects those at the extreme high end, but the coefficient of that goes from 0.67 to 0.66. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it takes a few % off of the really high level players as I continue to watch. And again, I'm trying to nudge things from all directions. So if you have an extremely high attunement relative to your target, then you might see, a couple points different. Let's see. Kobold Casters for control points got a tune-up. Shock Monkeys got a tune-up. Undead used to have negative life attunement. Not just 0, but they would actually have some negative life attunement. They got some magic resistance, which makes them resistant to all magics, but then it was taken off 2x times their level, so some of them would be in the negative range on life attunement. Those will now be 1x off, so they'll be far more vulnerable to life magic than anybody else, but not as vulnerable as they were. And again, you can imagine if it's a level 100 creature, they're going to be 100 points better at resisting what you had before. I'm going to slide off camera for a second so I can blow my nose. All right. So again, also most of these changes that you've seen so far have been changes that are 100% focused at PvE, and trying to focus on also not breaking PvP. But again, some of the strategies that work too well in PvP or PvE also work too well in PvE. But there will also start to be some more changes going in for PvP that will... Hey, Lordish British rules. 200 bits. Is this trying to get... Are you trying to get the hype train going? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I think Zold talked to doing it so we can get some good coffee in the house.
I don't know how to make that hype train go. Do you guys know how to make the hype train start?
That's a new thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, thank you. For those who don't know, that is actually Lord British Richard Garrett. Hey, Richard, you're welcome. Did you want to jump on the stream and say hi to people? I don't even know where you are. Yes, please. Can we add in Richard to the... I think I can add him in here.
I started the call. Can you add also?
Yes, let me add in Richard.
Perfect.
That guy. And thank you, Darton Obscuro as well, of the Obscuros. Well, I see him up there, but why is he small?
And can you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah.
And can you see the wonderful sheet of plastic behind me?
Yeah.
How do I move you to be the focus?
What's the story
there?
behind that?
They're repairing my air conditioning, and they had to cut a hole in the ceiling. So to prevent dust from falling on me and the computers, there's a plastic sheet now protecting me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but it has used a little...
Or protecting the rest of the world from you.
One of those two, to be sure.
Right.
Thank you for joining. We were just talking today. We were showing off the Lord of the Isle.
I was listening in there for a while there.
And talking combat balance and all the good stuff that's going on with that. Which has, I know it's ruffled a few feathers, but actually it seems to have made most people pretty happy with things. And revitalized a lot of these sections of the game, so it's not just a game of let's go to one scene, or two scenes as it was before. But I was just going down the list. Do you have any exciting stories, Richard, of what you've done lately that's awesome?
My only exciting stories are, having to replace two air handlers on the roof unit from my house. So, and then they found the broken pipes that keep the pressurized gas. So they had to rip out the ceilings and the walls, and put in new pipes, and change out the units, and add extra electrical power. And so, that kind of just sucks. But that's my own. That's not. I'm not sure that's an exciting story, but it does tell you that everyone has the same mundane problems, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah, if you heard my early stuff, the same mundane problems here is 5-year-old waking up in the middle of the night, waking me up, them going back to bed, and then Maxine woke up and projectile vomited 5 times. on
nice.
rugs. The one that I discovered, I had never really even thought about it, but she threw up in her bed. I didn't hear that. She threw up on her floor. I heard that. I started getting up, but she ran to the top of the stairs, looked down the stairs to yell for me, and projectile vomited down the carpeted stairs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you win.
The stream right now is a zoom in of me and Ravalox.
I know. I don't know how to get. I can't get it to show Richard, which is odd.
I see myself in the upper little corner. So
Yeah, he's in the
precious.
upper corner, but it's not.
That's all right. All I have is a black plastic. I mean, a piece of plastic behind me, so it's all right. Don't fret me.
All right. But anyways, anybody have any questions for Richard while he is here with us, or should I get back to? I've got another 15 minutes, I think, on combat balance. I'm sorry for the continued coughing.
Yeah, people are wondering, if you've got the coronavirus, and my plastic sheet here is to protect me from the coronavirus, so I'm well protected.
Let's see. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with the coronavirus lately, but I do not have the coronavirus, I'm pretty sure. I'm one of those people, unfortunately, that they talk about that have lung problems already that would probably die if I got it, so do not give me the coronavirus. It would be bad. But anyways, getting back to some of the tweaks again, skeletons got a little tougher. Zombies got a little bit tougher, the slow ones and the fast ones. Let's see, spell tweaks. So Banish Undead was one of those that was, of the people who hit 5 million, 3 out of 4 of them were Banish Undead people who were just soloing, and Banish Undead is just so powerful, so easy to cast. The focus cost for it, and again, you got to remember, for those who don't know the game very well, some of these guys have 1,500 focus pools. The focus cost to cast a Banish Undead was 8. You can cast a lot of those. You can't even move your focus bar. So anyways, it's going up a little bit. It's only going up to 24. Another thing that I've been doing for balance, and this is one that I'm trying to help the in-game economy as well, which is my first pass before was one of the things I did was go and increase the reagent use. So reagents were used more. Looking at how things worked and how players worked, I went back, and also this is feedback that Elgarion gave me as well, from talking to fans, which is I've gone back, and for most of those I've tuned the reagents you can't grow as a player, you can't make as a player easily. I've turned those back to a low level, but increased.
And Chris, if I can interrupt you for 2 announcements or 2 thoughts.
Yep.
Well, one is people are noting that since you're the main one speaking, you're also the only one people can't see. I don't know if you wanted to correct that.
Oh, I can fix that.
And the other note was, I was just going to respond to somebody in the stream was asking about the book. And as you know, we've been, there you go, that's better. As you know, we're now picking out the illustrations for the book, the chapter illustrations. So that's, I think they're doing a little bit more editing at the publisher, but the main actual outstanding item is the illustrations. So we're going to dig through to find the proper chapter heading illustrations, and it's almost wrapped up from our end. So then we just got to get it out. And
did Scotty find what he needed?
I have not. I don't know if we've. Somebody sent me a link. I haven't tested it yet. So
okay.
We'll see if you guys give me the right link to the repository, then I should be able to dig it out.
I didn't delete anything. I've got there's a server up there that's been backed up to my home server that has like 24 terabytes of junk on it. So nothing's lost. It's there somewhere. It's just you got to find it.
It's not junk.
Junk. Most of it is junk. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. You just need to sort through to find the important stuff. But anyway, so the reagent cost, the change that's happened is reagent costs are going up, but primarily only for the things that you guys can grow. So things like garlic and mandrake are going up. Things like black pearl you technically can find. We need to give you a way to find a lot more of it, though, because right now it's pretty hard to find. It's not something you can find easily, unless you want to constantly walk beaches forever. And then you still won't find that many. So anyways, trying to push that more so that there's more, again, feeding back into the economy type stuff. Let's see. So Banish Undead, again, it did not get many changes. The changes that were made more for that to balance the Banish Undead, given that it was the number one thing that players who were reaching 5 million experience points, who were just destroying things. The main thing that happened to it is the undead are slightly less resistant to life magic. Fireball got a small tweak. This is coming out in this next patch as well. The only thing that I changed about Fireball from its current standpoint is it is the explosion still hits the same number of people. The dot after the fire effect only hits 5 people. Again, it's the other one that almost everyone used. There were a lot of people who were Solar Flare, Fireball, and Banish Undead were kind of the 3 common things that everybody was using. I'm not trying to stop you guys, just trying to make sure these things are balanced. And again, if there's one thing that everybody does, there's probably a reason for it. All Solar Flare got was the reagent cost for it went up. Looking at the damage, it's a little high, but it's not. It didn't seem like it was crazy. I think it was just more people. Sun Magic does great against undead, in case you didn't know. Ring of Fire was the other tweak. Ring of Fire, all that changed on Ring of Fire was moving the reagents, turning the Black Pearl down, turning the Mandrake root up. Let's see. Another one of those things, this is just feedback, that Purifying Burst should refuse or remove confusion in the next release. Bunch of new artifacts were added to the upgrade list so they can be masterworked. And Banish Undead. The other thing that happened on Banish Undead was it is now a 15-second cooldown versus a 10-second cooldown. And this again is just the continuing to try to move things in the right direction, so there's not, we don't want skills that are the click the button you win type skills, and that's kind of, when things are too unbalanced, it's frustrating for everyone because you feel like you're not playing well, even though you might be playing well, but it's just because you don't want to use that one skill. So,
Chris.
Yes? Is it time?
My headset is dying, and actually so am I. I'm not really feeling well anyway.
Okay.
So I am going to step down. Maybe Richard can get into my window and be a little bit bigger.
Maybe. We'll see.
So I'll talk to you guys. You hear it. I'll talk to you guys later, and I got to travel back home tonight, so I'll be back online tomorrow.
Okay, you can help Scotty find those files if he hasn't found them yet.
Yep, will do. Absolutely.
All right,
talk to you
thanks.
guys later.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, let's see if Richard gets promoted. Nope. Oh, this is a perfect look. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're not doing the thing. Let's see.
Can you make that window
well,
larger?
it's mini-me.
Nope, that's not it. Float. There we go. I'm not sure why it wouldn't panel you. Now it's speaker view, so whoever's talking will be in there. So you guys will be popping around a little bit.
All right, well, it's me now. So hello, everybody. Now you can see me. Now you can see me in my cool Digs Extra diggy.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. And you're in an old house, aren't you?
I am in an old house. It's sitting even older now with the holes in the ceilings and walls.
Let's see, other combat balance. So again, the combat balance was not just me going around and nerfing people. I tried to make sure all the changes I made were not things that people would really classify as nerfs, and that I would go and take a skill and take it from, it used to do 80 points and now it does 50 points and now I feel weak. It was the type thing where, before you could never run out of focus. Now there's a chance you can actually run out of focus if you're being sloppy, lazy, if you're not eating food, if you're not, doing a lot of those things, if you're just like spam casting it even though you don't need to. So anyways, trying to make that work a little better. And I think did we pass 415? Wasn't that our next prizening?
Yes.
Okay, I've clicked
exactly.
the button. Let me make sure it is at the top of the queue. It says it will start in 2 minutes. For those who don't know, if you want to get in the prizes, you can either buy something, or you can just go in game and say, "Love makes the world go round." Saying it in chat over here does not do anything. You have to do it in game. Boo. And also, for those who missed it, we are sitting in the Lord of the Isle mansion, which turned out amazingly well. But anyways, I could go on and on about all the little tweaks that are going in for things, but again, it's the looking at the strategies that are just too effective right now. And I'm not singling out people. You know, I know there's some people out there who have some interesting play styles. I'm not trying to single out those people. I'm really going and looking for, you know, the people who are doing the best. If all of them have this exact same, you know, they use these exact same 3 skills, which a lot of it was. Those are the ones where I have to go and look at it. I have to start moving those down. I'm not trying to punish you guys for your play style. It's really, players know what the power is, and they, you know, are min-maxers, and they focus on those things. But I am also trying to change things from the creature side in ways. And, you know, some of the stuff like changing the undead so that they're not as, you know, so they're a little more resistant to life magic doesn't affect anyone except for people who are using some of these skills that were a little over-effective. But we'll see. Again, this whole first quarter is going to be the quarter where I'm doing balance. So also don't think that it's, you know, I believe that when this next patch comes out in a few hours or tomorrow morning, that it's everything is perfect. And thank you again, Richard. But it's going to be 3 months of the balance and trying to get it to the point so that it feels you're being rewarded for being a good player. Again, that's the bottom line, is we want you to feel like you're being rewarded for trying, for putting that effort, for not doing stupid things. So let's see. There was, for those who didn't know, one change is coming out soon. That again, this will be some balance notes. Oh, actually, those already went in. So anyways, the next patch will have a handful of balance passes. I will be watching this weekend to see if all the people who are exceeding expectations are all using the exact same strategies or the exact same hunting grounds. So anyways.
Hey, can I help you with the prize name?
Did it spit out the thing? If so, then go for it.
It did.
Go for it.
Give them out?
Give them out. Call it. Read it.
All right. The prizing bot has spun up the prizes, and this is what we have. This is what we have for you all today. A Cordovan heart. Go to Deathstalker. Deathstalker is the proudest of a Cordovan heart. And one of my favorites of all times, the ornate marching band shirt and hat. That goes to Dugan Redhammer. Dugan Redhammer, you have an ornate marching band shirt and hat. Put them on, wear them with pride as you march around and play some musical instruments. And speaking of musical instruments, the most appropriate musical instruments to have in your band when you are doing marching bands, especially if it was the one-man band, is the 5-piece one-man band. And today, in this cycle, the 5-piece one-man band is going to go to Sho Sindar. Sho Sindar, you are the owner of a 5-piece one-man band. I look forward to seeing you marching around with it. And for those of you who prefer less gaudy musical instruments, the ornate grand piano, for which you can, on February 14th, play something suitable for your significant other. That ornate grand piano will go to Lumax Ulfulson. Waffleson. Lumax Waffleson. You are the proud owner of an ornate grand piano. Please play it well. And if you're looking for a place to hang out and throw your parties on February 14th and to show your loved one a good time, what better place to do it than in a large fancy pavilion? Yes, today's large fancy pavilion, or this cycle's large fancy pavilion, goes to Red Hammer. Red Hammer, you are now the proud owner of a large fancy pavilion to show off your fancy stuff and do all the fancy things with your fancy loved ones. And you can even hang one of those portraits in it. If you have one of those nice British portraits I see on the stream there, that's actually one of my favorite art bits, oh Lord British. And don't I wish I could actually look so noble and regal and have magical things curling around my swords. I wish that was what I look like all the time as I get older and older. But anyway, those are your prizes. Good luck, or thank you, and congratulations to Deathstalker, Dugan Redhammer, Shosindar Lumax, Waffleson, and Redhammer. Enjoy your prizes.
And also for those who missed it, oh, thank you very much, Beldurnick. But for those who missed it, we have been doing, thanks to having amazing community members like, team members like Elgarion, he's been great about sending out the prizes, and he's been sending them out during the stream normally. Today, because we have an internal patch that broke all of our GM clients, because when I do these internal builds, our GM clients always patch up. If you run the patcher, it always patches up and patches the latest thing. And sometimes those builds are bad. So we were all reminded of that today, including Elgarion, who didn't know about that potential disaster, who patched up, and now he can't play the game on a GM client. So he's going to be sending the fallout from that is he's going to be sending the prizes out as soon as he can run the GM client again tomorrow morning. That's actually the same reason why I am being silly right now and playing in a player client rather than a GM client. So, but anyways, for those who missed it here, this is the Lord of the Isle Manor. That's the what do they call that? Not the atrium. Is it the atrium? Anyways, it's the indoor garden. You know. But this is kind of the view for it.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
And there's multiple different halls, and yeah, the performance issues that they were seeing earlier was not the actual performance. That was him being on Skype. So he was streaming into our stream. But this is with shadows on max. So anyways, probably needs a little more work, but it's
preview of the architecture style coming to other lot sizes as well, correct?
Yes. So this is Damon did a ton of work getting this thing out and ready. But this is also, now that we have a lot of these pieces together, there's going to be sizes for this. This, of course, is just the one-off thing that there'll never be more than 24 of these in the game ever. This is for the Lord of the Isle version of it. But there may be city-size versions of it. This is not a keep, but a castle-size version. So this takes up most of a castle lot. You can see they put a fence down around the outside. So if you know how big castle lots are, that pretty much fills it. So again, this was kind of a one-off thing for those guys. But we plan on making city-sized versions of these things. That will be, I guess that's a quarter this size. But it will have the same similar architecture and some of the same features. And this is also going to be some of the architecture that will be used through a number of towns in Episode 2 stuff as well.
Oh, nice.
So, let's see. So we were talking, we're 4:30. We got about 28 minutes left here. My voice is barely surviving. But I think I've got a long list of questions here that I've done a poor job of answering. So unless you guys have something you want to talk about, I'm going to just go through and start answering some questions. I can put some of these up. I'm not sure if anybody else wants to, but let me throw together a quick shared doc. There we go. I was watching fish videos. In case you're wondering what that video was, it popped up over the screen for a second. It was not anything exciting. Hold on one second, I'm getting a shared doc for these guys. Shareable link. Alright, I'm pasting that in the chat for you guys if you want to go look at it and see if there's any questions on there you want to answer. But I will go ahead and start now. Let's see. House of Mangar Theater. Yes, I did. Question is, Chris, did you read my Twitter proposal for the first quality of life changes? Yes, I did read your Twitter proposal. That's something that I agree with. It's one of those things we just haven't had time. The proposal was to bring back like more visible level indicators and experience bars and stuff like that. So we probably will be doing some of that stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it right now. Wizard Smoke actually just wrapped up his major task that he'd been working on for a while, which was the Inky stuff. Which, if you have not played with it, go give it a play. We're going to get some different NPCs out for you guys that have Inky features on them, so you can do your own programmable dialogue. Some more. There's one out there right now that we forgot was only for testing. We left that in as the only one. So right now it's like an old, rare item. And I don't think we have those out yet, do we? Elgarion? Did those haven't made their way to the store yet?
No, I do believe it's just the Lord Marshal automaton decoration pet's still the only Inky pet.
All right. So anyways.
Soon we'll get more.
Yes. There's also going to be some adjustments to the amount of text that can go with those guys as well. And there will be I forget if we were talking about doing like a craftable version where you had to use the aortic thrombus and skulls and leg bones and hand bones and all the other stuff to craft them.
Yeah, and then a skull, a hand bone, or a jaw bone. PvPers, I think, will like that. Some skeleton bones, some aortic thrombus, and some clay to make it feel like you're making kind of like a golem at the alchemy table. I think that'd be kind of cool.
But anyways, there'll be a craftable or purchasable in-game for gold one, and there'll also be one on the Crown Store. The only difference between the two is probably the visuals for the Crown Store one will be cooler looking, but the dialogue, the amount of dialogue they can have will be greater. So they'll be able to have a longer discussion with you about things. And that's one of those things. It's always interesting. We always, and I'm not sure how much you catch from the team meetings, Elgarion, since you Skype in and you're on an iPad while we're sitting in a taco bar eating tacos. Sometimes it can be loud. That's one of the discussions was it's always the, the one we give them, let's make sure and give them, something that's not super attractive so we can put a super attractive one in the Crown Store so that they feel like they're getting something for supporting the game. And then that always turns to, if you make the free version ugly, you will walk down the street and you will see 100 ugly NPCs. We can't make them ugly. So we'll find some happy medium in there. They'll probably be some way a little bit boring, but hopefully not too disgusting. So yeah, so I don't think they're gonna look like Frankenstein, or else everybody's lot would have 10 Frankensteins on them.
And since we're talking about body parts, if I may pose my usual question, didn't I hear you talk about cannibalism? Isn't cannibalism due any day now?
Yeah. That would actually be as easy as us adding recipes for body parts. Huh?
About time.
All right, maybe.
We're Star.
Yeah, Star's not here to shoot you down right now.
The way the kids will play. Come on, let's do it quick.
I will commit to saying that there is a definite chance that cannibalism will make it. There is absolutely a possibility that cannibalism will be in for 2020.
Well, somebody brought up an interesting point on the forums. There already is cannibalism in the game because potions have corpse wax in it.
Oh.
That's technically true, but I mean, it'd still be fun, though, to make, a pie with, Dark Star's dead body in it and be able to call it, Dark Star Pie and eat it.
Let's see. Famines ask a good question here. Any ETA on crappy loot drops for stream? So he's talking about, for a while I would give out stuff on my stream. I'd give out unique items on streams, and I gave some of those out to streamers. I'd make some stuff. Famines is actually the first guy who requested that. He requested a fishing cloak, which I made a fishing cloak for him. I forget what it had on it, but it was like, +2 fishing or something like that. It wasn't anything that, breaks the game, but it was something unique he could have. And then I, just because that's the only thing I had at the time, I repurposed it on my stream and renamed the item locally and gave away his cloaks that were renamed like Atos fan cloaks or something for a while. And basically stole the thunder from his cloak that was no longer unique and cool. So, but yes, I will try and get some of those unique, crappy, very small, beneficial type items out there for you. Let's see. Here's another one that is an important question, because if you've read the 2020 vision plan, this first quarter is not just for combat balancing. The first quarter is also for loot. And this is, again, if you are working hard, it's the whole risk versus reward thing, as I've mentioned many times. We want to make sure that reward is not just reward in the form of experience points. We don't want your only reward to be like one little number going up. We want to be lots of little numbers going up as you get loot that actually helps with some things. If you've watched any of my streams lately, that's actually probably the top topic, is how to improve the loot without destroying the crafters. Because what many people think of as the loot cycle in a game is largely defined from loot-heavy games that are basically tiered loot type games like World of Warcraft or an EverQuest, where you go out and kind of the loop you want for the loot is you want to go out, and me and my buddies go out, we adventure for 4 hours, and one or two of us get some piece of gear while we're out there that is an upgrade to something I have that I can put on immediately and wear. So we've got some solutions for how that's going to be handled, but it's largely going to be that you'll go out and you may find some stuff. It may be an upgrade over what you have, but it also will have the advantage of you can take it back, take it to your local crafter, let them break it down and use it. And that's the Akara set may be the first set that actually does that. But that'll be one that you'll be able to, it'll have some stuff, you'll be able to do some stuff. I'm still trying to decide, I may make it masterworkable but not enchantable, so that you can make some improvements to it, but it's not going to be a full competing with the crafter gear. And the reason for that is the goal is those type of things you'll be able to bring that back, you'll be able to break it down, and you'll be able to get a unique type of steel from it. And that's where that can be used, and then that'll be a unique type of steel that they'll have another steel type that they can use to make new crafted stuff. So for instance, the one that's out there now is the Akara plate mill that's dropping lots of places. By the way, the recipes to combine those should be in this patch if it's not already live. But that will be you'll be able to bring that back, and it'll give some features of it. That'll be a special type steel that then crafters can take that and make stuff from it. So we are going to be improving the loot. There's lots, and again, loot is not just improving the loot cycle. Is not just let's go add a bunch of new items to the game. It's improving it so we can get more drops on things with things still feeling unique to them. Some of that loot balance will also be in the form of going and balancing. Hey, thank you very much. Oh, and let me thank Beldurnick. I think I might have already thanked him, but if not, thank you very much. And thank you, Lord Bridge Rules, as always.
I saw the tagline underneath it, right? Those bits came in for a purpose.
What are those? Is that for... for cannibalism.
It says for cannibalism.
Yeah, normally when people cheer for one, it's ironic, because if they cheer for like 100, I never even look to see what they say. If they cheer for one, I'll usually be like, oh, well, they must be cheering because they want me to look at what they're saying. And then I'll look. So you gave 3,000, so I didn't even look. So, but thank you, Hondo375, for the follow. Thank you. And again, also the community of the Avatar is another one you should definitely follow. That is Elgarion's stream, who's the tiny guy. He's the little guy in the little box in the upper right-hand corner. Very small. But if he talks, he'd get big for a second. And thank you, Eileen Dragonfire. But anyway, so the loot is not a single thing. There's also a lot of this stuff. Getting stuff you can use is also not about goods, because there's a lot of goods out there that drop that are really more in the they're not quite permanent, but they're very durable goods that put it in economy terms. One of the other things that's going to be happening is there's going to be more going on in terms of items that drop that will be used for crafting. That's one thing. But also more items dropping, the crafting stuff usually drops to make more durable goods. There's only so many durable goods you need out there, and everybody gets hand-me-downs, and they're not as cool and neat. So there's going to be a lot more drops that will be going out in the form of consumables that will be rare item needed to create a consumable, or it'll be a rare consumable that drops. We're trying to not have too many of the actual consumables drop out there, because then again we're competing with our crafters, and we're trying to make sure we keep that cycle of crafters making stuff for the players, that still keeps going on. Another part of that, glad there's only 15 minutes left, because that's about all my throat has left at this point. Another part of that is making the crafting skills, taking another deep look at the crafting skills to make sure if you are working to level up your crafting, that you're actually being rewarded for that. Right now, there's some of those crafting skills that there's no point, once you get to 100, stop, you're wasting your time to go higher. And we want to make sure that those all have significant rewards, and there's reason to get out there, so there can be stuff. And again, we've talked about some skill stuff. I've mentioned before that, getting Twitch skill into a crafting system is not just frustrating for many people out there. We have a lot of players who are, older players or have arthritis or, just aren't very good at the timing or video games, trying to come up with that type of stuff. So getting the skill into the crafting in more thinking ways is another one that's going to be coming as well. Whether that makes it to the 2020 plan or not, but again, that's using stuff like the mastermind puzzle we have for the puzzle box out there. You can imagine using that as a crafting skill element rather than the Twitch, golf swing or whatever type skill element in crafting. So getting skill into it, actual player skill, getting more drops out there that are meaningful drops that are meaningful to crafters. All those things, again, it all piles into the loot improvement. But also some of these other things, like going and looking, as I've had some people corner me. Zol is on the stream here, also known as House of Mangar. But he's cornered me a few times, and Famines also has cornered me a few times on these things of I think Famines was like, go check how often Wyvern heads drop. And of course I go and I look, and it's like, let's see, looks like they drop 1 in 1,000 times from the biggest Wyvern you can kill. So anyways, it's looking at those things. So we don't want to make those things too common, but some of them feel just insanely rare, because if it's 1 in 1,000 drops, you may kill 2,000 and never get one. Killing 2,000 wyverns takes a long time. So it's trying to find that proper balance. And some of those things are, some of them you only got to kill like 20 and you get it, and then some of them you got to kill 1,000. Trying to get some balance in those things. And some of that will be looking at the number of them that get killed in game, on a weekly basis, and trying to balance based on that so that we know how many are entering into the economy. So again, there's lots and lots and lots of stuff to improve the loot, even on the fishing side of things. So making sure that we get fishing feels more rewarding. The stuff is in there, but also there's a number of other little things we can throw in. Getting more fish recipes out there so that you can actually take your fish and do something with them. Using the fish for fertilizer is another one that's, many of those things. So making it's not just about I go out and I kill a dragon. I want to make sure that dragon always gives me something cool. It's about everything all combined. All of that's not going to get done in the first quarter. We're going to be taking some big steps towards it, and you can expect to see some changes, some sizable changes. Did you have anything to add there, Richard?
Having talks about cannibalism and kidney pies and all kinds of fun things that we could make with it, and I've been over in the Mattermost channels also spewing cannibalism all through the team chat as well. So apologies, but no, that was it.
Lancel Lancerman has a question for TAZ. I'm sure that's for Tazar, who, again, for those of you who missed it, forgot that he was old, and by old I mean like my age. Probably not as old as Richard. I'm not sure. He may be as old as Richard. But injured himself and is currently got his feet propped up, probably on ice packs. But he was asking about if the player crafted items in the loot table change. That's another one of those things that is on my list to do that we've talked about before. First, let me explain to people, this is actually one of Richard's ideas. that we all were like, yeah, maybe it'll work, but it's a great feature, which is when you sell something to a merchant, it doesn't just get destroyed poof into the ether. It actually goes into a table that then we add to loot bundles. So new players, the places where you see this the most is for new players. When they come into the game, they will find, very often they'll find stuff that higher level players have made and sold to merchants. And it not only does it okay, they got an item that probably to them is actually a pretty cool item, and very likely an upgrade, but it's cool because then they're like, oh, I got this thing that was made by, Flair made a sword, or Elrond made a sword, or whoever made a sword, and it has the person's name on them. So, but we're going to be making some changes to that loot table. I think the bigger thing than some of the suggestions he had is there's this one base problem that I promised I would fix many times. I will fix it, I swear. Maybe this quarter is the quarter where I actually fix it, but increasing the loot, what you can sell to merchants when you craft something. As you level it up, right now you don't really get any more gold for selling that to a merchant, so you have no incentive. If you make a plus 11, but the buffs turn out to be it's not anything that anybody would really want, that basically people will just salvage it rather than sell it to merchants, because the sale value for it is so low. So getting that up so it actually feels like you're getting at least some of that money that you invested in it back, that is the type of stuff that, again, it sounds simple. It sounds like, is that really going to make a difference? That's the type of stuff that will really make a big difference. And this is not me saying that and just guessing. That is coming from the actual guys out there who make a huge, make 1,000 items a day or more. That's what they have told me. So if they can sell it, then the whole system, starts working in a much better way. Right now it kind of works, but again, I've gone and looked at those tables before, and it's like there's one of those tables, I think, for a while that it only would hold 1,000 items in it in a certain category, and 950 of them were bear hats. I'm sure the crafters out there are probably laughing, but bear hats were apparently, for a while, they were the thing to make to help level up. Who makes 1,000 items a day? Again, if you're saying who makes 1,000 items a day, now they're not necessarily making 1,000 of the best items a day. But again, these are not people who go out and mine their own ore and then go on an adventure and kill some ghosts and do some stuff and then come home. These are people who they put up purchase orders and they buy lots of stuff and they get people to buy stuff and they go and they buy ingredients and then they sit down and they'll craft. I know that they want to craft a lot of this stuff, because that's one of the things I get yelled at most often about is, why have you not increased the size of the, make it so I can do 100 of something at a time. Yeah, 1,000 ingots a day is nothing, but crafting 1,000 unique items, I'm sure there's some out there who start and finish and kill it. But I forget, we did our 45. Did we do our 45? Let me look at our table. No, we did not. We did the 15-minute late. So we only have 8 minutes left, and we have to do a loot. We have to do a drawing. So let me get that going. 1 second. Moving it to the top of the queue so it happens quick. All right, so that'll be going here. Let's see, 8 minutes, that's going. That'll be about 1 minute before that pops out. Let me get some more questions going on here. Hey, Richards, how's the weather in New York?
Cold. It's always too cold.
Have you met up with Burning Toad yet?
We did. In fact, he came to a Dia de los Muertos party we had a couple months ago.
Sweet.
And now that we're both hanging out here in the Big Apple, so I expect we'll see each other once a quarter or so at least.
All right, cool. Yeah, I've been teasing him about various things, including the weather. So let's see. Brass Knuckles asks how much time went into making the house. More than was expected. For those who saw the whole saga of the mansion, again, this is one of those things that we try not to spend too much time on very exclusive stuff. This was one that we expected to go much, much quicker. Originally, List was planning on doing it, Travis, and thought he could do it, and then realized he bit off more than he could chew, and there were just too many problems with it, and then Damon picked it up. But again, it is more than we expected, but again, that's part of how we fund the game, is from sometimes we have to make some items that are cool and big to help fund the game. This is one that we'd promised to people, and we just underestimated the amount of work in it. Again, Damon...
Hey, so will I help give out this next round of prizes, if I may?
Go for it.
Hey, Richard, may I recommend something?
Please.
On the ornate grand piano, we have a duplicate. Can you ask a trivia question instead for that one, and we can give that away to somebody else?
That's good.
Ooh, great idea. I see that there. So let's see. A good trivia question might be in Ultima Online. No, excuse me. This would be in Ultima 6, I believe it was. You could kill Lord British by dropping a metal plate on his head when he walked through a door. Can you tell me anything about the note? If you're in the stream, tell me about the note that you could find on Lord British's body if you killed him by dropping a metal plate on his head. Anybody know? There was a sign entering. Somebody says it's Ultima 7. Okay, I believe that.
Was it your will?
7.
Rinaldi says it was your will. I don't know the answer, by the way.
No, it wasn't my will. That's not it.
Feel free to eat my corpse. That's a good one.
Well, actually, wait. Who said that was my will?
Rinaldi, the green guy.
Rinaldi. Oh, there it is. Yes. It was my will. I was actually asking for what it said in the will, which I think was kind of funny too, because it was a joke that was played on me. But I agree. Actually, you're right, Rinaldi. Okay, so Rinaldi, the green guy, you're going to get the duplicate. So hold on. Here's the rest of the prizes, though. And by the way, what it did say in there too is it basically said that I had a love child with the maid or something, and so I was leaving her all my money. And so and the team didn't tell me about this until it was like too late to take it out. Thank you very much, team. Yes. Okay. So the prizing, the Cordovan heart goes to Garrick DeGray. The ornate marching band shirt and hat goes to Engel. The 5-piece one-man band goes to Gandrablade. You get the five-piece one-man band. And the ornate grand piano now goes to, as we said, Rinaldi the green guy. Then that leaves the large fancy pavilion to throw your large and fancy party coming up on the 14th. For you and all your friends and loved ones, that will go to Drithen Midnight. Drithen Midnight, you get the large fancy pavilion to throw your party in. In any case, thank you all very much, and hope you enjoyed those prizes.
Thank you very much, Richard. Let's see, we got 3 minutes left here. I was going to try to find one more question here to answer. One quick one is the original Smelly asks, are these changes that are in now or coming soon? The changes I was describing earlier, the changes are going to be in the patch tomorrow morning. But let's see. Lord of Honesty asks, which type of enemies are least popular? Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. I was surprised that the mechanical creatures were not that popular to kill. Again, some of those come from, they're cool looking, they have some interesting things they do, but if you have the choice to kill a Lich that has 700 hit points, is pretty weak, and gives you 4,000 experience points, or kill a mechanical monkey that has 2,500 hit points and gives you 4,000 experience points and can kill you, you go and you kill the Lich, even though it is boring and not as cool looking. And that's just the type of stuff that we're trying to fix here. So I don't know which ones. I know the mechanical stuff, when I pulled my numbers, I was surprised by how few there were. That's also because there's not as many scenes in there.
I presume you'd also really, to get that thing exactly right, you'd have to do something pretty complex, like, say, how often you see a creature versus how often that creature is killed. Very complicated to get a true answer on. Even when I said wouldn't be a clean answer, but tricky. But hey, we should probably do the goodbyes.
We should, which is good because my throat is only going to last a few more minutes. Richard, I'll let you wrap things up here, but I'll go ahead and do my part, which is, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for all the patience on things. I know we've slipped a few things here in this first quarter with the death of 2 of our servers back to back, costing a bit of time, along with everybody in the team being sick, including Ravlox right now, apparently, who had to duck out for being sick. But again, guys, thanks for all your patience. Thanks for all the feedbacks, and thanks so much. I've been honestly very surprised and shocked by how few complaints there have been about the balance changes going in, and how many people have been incredibly supportive. That's the type of stuff we want to see. Again, we want players. I want good feedback from people. If you've watched my streams, I've been taking a ton of feedback, and I'm not the type who sits there on my stream and says, "You're wrong. That's not how you should play." Like, I'm always like, yeah, that sucks. We should fix that, and we're working on it. I always try to own the problem. So, again, thanks so much, everybody, for all the support. And I'm going to turn it over to Elgarion next. You got anything for him, Elgarion? Little man in the corner?
Guys, be sure to check out the forums. Oh, you pointed the wrong way.
I did it wrong.
Yeah. So on the forums, guys, in the guild forum and the town forum, be sure to get your towns and guilds listed in the new directories. And also, we got to pick somebody to raid.
Oh, yeah. I'll leave that up to you while Richard says the final goodbyes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I often very much enjoy hanging out in some of those raids. The community's doing a great job. But by the way, I also just want to say thank you. Sorry I missed the very beginning of the stream to get a chance to chime in and just say how much we really appreciate you all giving us the support for all this time. I think Chris and the team are doing a phenomenal job with all the changes and improvements that are going in. People can hopefully be looking forward to the book here in the upcoming months. Episode 2 is making some progress. I think we are in for a good year here in 2020, and it's all because of you continuing to hang with us and continuing to support the game, for which we are eternally grateful. So thank you very much. Hopefully next time I won't be in my plastic tent, my Ebola / coronavirus tent. But we'll hopefully get this wrapped up tomorrow so that by next week it'll be nice and clean here.
All right, Elgarion, who are we rating?
Well, we've only got a choice of 2. House of Mangar Theater and the original Smelly, it looks like. So, are you in game where you can do the little
I
roll
can do a
mechanic,
roll.
or who did you raid last time, do you remember?
Let's see. Well, I did a roll of a D2. My roll of a D2 was a 1. Barely visible down there.
That would be House of Mangar Theater.
All right. Well, he gets a lot of our love, but he deserves a lot of our love. So let's see if I can get this right. Raid House _of_ Mangar _theater. Did I get it? Yeah, got it. Guys, again, thank you so much for all the support. Again, I will be streaming probably Monday and Wednesday next week. We'll see if I get caught up on things. But again, thanks for all your support. Richard, thanks for joining us on the stream. And thanks to Ravlox, who had to bow out a little bit early because his headphones were dying and because he's sick. And again, thanks to Elgarion for all the great stuff you're doing for the project and all the community support stuff you're doing. And let's go raid. See you guys. Bam.